I am not so sure. I'm going to close that, all right? And just so you know, we are rolling. Yeah, it's Kid Friday. It is show number 229. We do this show because you are a kid in a digital world. I'm Dave, and back by popular demand. Well, not really, but I was biking with him earlier, and I said, "Hey, you want to do Kid Friday?" My buddy Steve, who is so informative. This guy knows his stuff. And if you've ever heard of the band Cheap Trick, well, he likes them.
Just a little bit.
All right, here's what we're covering on this Kid Friday. Technology show for kids. Teens, tweens, kids of all ages. I know adults that watch Kid Friday or listen to Kid Friday. By the way, Steve, did you know? I pulled it up. Did you? I think I sent that to you. Where Kid Friday is available. Some of the places you can watch or listen to Kid Friday.
I know Spotify is one of them, right? YouTube.
I think so. No, I don't know what I did with that. Why did I even say that? I shouldn't have said that, huh?
You helped me get my podcast on Spotify.
I had a...
That would be the Weapon of Self-Destruction podcast.
You know, already you're giving yourself a plug. I like it. By the way, we got a great show. I'm serious.
We do.
Yeah, I'll find that later. I'll tell you where.
But I know you're available on iTunes.
I know. Yeah, we're available.
I listen to Kid Friday through my Player FM app on
I'm just gonna
on my
see
Android
Player
phone.
FM. Okay, hold on. Here we go. I'm just gonna go like this. Kid Friday. Okay, and then here I can tell you where it's available. Or at least some of where it's available.
For kids in the digital world.
You know what? This isn't even the right one, is it?
I think we just named 3 of them, though, didn't we? Player FM, Spotify.
I know, but
YouTube.
Oh, I know where
Google Play,
I know where I can get it. I can get it off. I listed it on KidFriday.com.
Uh-huh.
Kid Friday is viewed in over 200 countries around the world. So, and we thank you very much for watching and supporting the show. And I'm serious. This is going to be a good show.
What episode number is it?
This is show number 229. If you are keeping track.
That's amazing.
And I don't know why.
I got a long way to go. I only have 60 some odd episodes.
He did have a long way to go because we're in Studio C, and the facilities here in Studio C, somebody did something and he had to go somewhere else to use the facilities. I'm just saying. Kid Friday is available on iTunes at kidfriday.com, on YouTube, on the TuneIn app, on Player.fm, on Stitcher, on Overcast, on Acast, on Castbox, on Podbay.fm, and as I like to say, a host of other places that Steve, the thing is I went to one of these, and before I watched Kid Friday, they played an ad. You think Kid Friday gets any of the revenue of that?
No? Really?
Huh? Yeah.
I'm bummed to hear that.
Well, it's not bummed. It's people are doing.
In other words, they played a little ad at the start of the podcast, right?
Yeah. So before the podcast, I think I'm gonna boost you up a little bit.
Interesting.
I'm gonna boost your level up. Okay. So check out what we're gonna talk about, because this is. I'm
psyched. This
is fun. I'm looking for it because where is it? A 6-year-old girl goes on an Amazon shopping spree because her mom left the one-click shopping on, and all these packages start showing up. We're going to be talking about that. That sounds like a good one, does it not?
That sounds really good.
Okay.
I can only imagine what she ordered.
I'll tell you what she ordered. Actually, we'll go over her order. Hold on. Okay, here we are. Let's see. YouTube offering some stars cash money to help push their new features. Kind of interesting. Do you know, and we talk about this a lot, about how everything is going to be integrated in your home, okay? But what Megasphere or whatever, what are you going to choose? Because once you choose one hub, you have to get all of the stuff from. Right. So you get a Fire Stick, an Amazon Fire Stick, or an Echo, or something like that. Then all of a sudden you have to buy all this other Amazon stuff,
you're
right?
Wedded to the
You buy a HomePod from Apple,
Amazon Universe,
right? You know, Google has their Alexa out, right?
Right.
No, that's Amazon.
Amazon.
Google has the. Actually, we're going to talk about that. So everybody's going to go after you. Spotify. Is going to have their own thing out now. And by the way, they're going to be going public. We mentioned that previously. And Samsung, we're going to talk about Samsung. And they have a whole new system that they just announced that, again, you know, where are you going to be? You know, what are you going to, because once you get locked into one, you know, they don't like playing nice with each other. They're like, you know, if you want more stuff, you have to buy stuff that's compatible with the system. So that'll be interesting. What else have we got? Oh my gosh. Hey, back to school, right?
Coming up soon.
And
for a lot of people, they're already back to school.
And this is a sad thing. We should start out with this, maybe. I'm not sure. But you know what the hot item is this school year?
I can only guess.
Bulletproof backpacks.
Get out.
All right.
That's sad.
Have a good show. we'll see you. Yeah,
That's sad.
Bulletproof backpacks, if you can believe that. And
Made
check
out of
this
Kevlar
out.
Or something?
Well, we'll talk about. I'm going to Kevlar you upside the head. A teen in Australia hacked into Apple's secure computer system. Got in a little trouble.
Not too secure then.
Let's see. Google admits that it tracks user information data even when you're not using an app.
No one should be surprised by that.
And I always say
why is that shocking?
I always say never believe that if anyone says your data is secure, there's always someone's, you know,
yeah,
right? Someone
the first time you filled out an online form, you put your data out there for perpetuity, in perpetuity. It's out there all the time now.
It is. And Kid Friday is going to give you useful information this time. Again. Wow. 5 myths. There's some myths out there. We talked about some ways previously how you can save. The best way to optimize your phone for to save your battery usage, right? Well, we're going to talk about 5 myths about the iPhone battery that you may mistakenly believe. And there were a couple in there that I mistakenly believed. And we're going to tell you about, well, actually, I didn't mistakenly believe. I knew it, but it's a pain in the butt.
Do you know what the best tip, the best thing you can do to save your phone battery is?
Turn it off.
Exactly.
Yeah, turn it off. If you're not using it, turn it off. Just like this guy on YouTube that I watch, Scotty Kilmer. He does all this car stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I showed you, right?
Yeah. I love that guy.
He said the best thing to do if you're stopped somewhere in your car and you have your foot on the brake, right, and you're going to be there for a while and you're talking to someone or whatever, put it in park or turn it off. I don't need to tell you that, but he's a car guy, and he's also an upcoming. He's in auto body mechanic school right now.
Ooh.
In special ed tech that he's doing. So he's going to deal with Bondo. Maybe you could tell us what Bondo is some day. Maybe not this one. We got too much stuff going on. Are you ready? You ready to start the show, Steve? We got to go.
Started yet.
We got to go. This 6-year-old shopping. I'm going to tell you useful information. Right. A 6-year-old spent, I think, like $350, if I'm not mistaken.
We haven't started the show yet.
And can you give me a countdown from 5?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hit it. Oh!
Let's get this party started.
Yeah, I'm a kid. I love computers. I have an iPod. I'm a gadget freak. I like to play with my display. I do it every day. I have awesome technique. Yeah, I'm a Kid Friday. I love this stuff, can't you see? Yeah, I'm a Kid Friday. I'm a kid who's in love with technology. Kid Friday.
picture books. Sorry, that might have been a little loud because we're dealing with some new equipment here in Studio C. Hey, did you see this, by the way? Did I show you this?
You did.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
Nice.
That's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
That holds okay, so Kid Friday brought to you by Story Cup Video Picture Books. It is story time all the time, 24/7, 365. You want their video picture books. It is a real person reading a picture book to you, and it's mixed in with the beautiful illustrations from the picture book. And Story Cup is extremely picky on the titles. I know there have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of submissions, and what do they say? Many will enter, few will win, or something like that. Or isn't there some kind of a?
Yeah, I like that saying. Yeah,
isn't there?
I've heard that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that?
No, I like it.
Yeah, you do. You know, it's funny because when we were doing sound check, you sounded a lot louder. So I'm gonna.
Really?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna boost you up.
Was I talking a little bit?
That's all right.
Lower?
No, but I'll tell you about your microphone in just a second. It's a pretty cool microphone. It may not look it, but
it looks cool on my end. Sounds good too.
It does. It's a great microphone. All right, so hey, I always get off track on the Story Cup stuff. Listen, you can go to storycup.com. All right, you sign up, you get Story of the Day for free. All right. Simple? Yeah, simple. And you can also get Story Cup on iTunes or just search Story Cup, all one word, just like you see it on the screen. And you can search that on your favorite browser. I know your favorite browser is Tor, which is kind of interesting, Steve, which redirects your IP address. Why you do that, I don't know. It's some kind of... scandal. Do you know what Tor is?
No.
You don't?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll tell you about it if you want. Then we're not going to get to any of the stuff we said we're going to get to.
That's right.
Story Cup is viewed in over 200 countries. Last I heard from this past week, 217 countries viewed Story Cup from around the world. I don't know, how many countries are there around the world?
I was just wondering that myself.
You know that?
You probably have most of them.
Can you Google that? Maybe get back to me, huh?
Where's our crack research?
Don't you have a phone? Don't you have a phone with you?
It's not. I don't have it with me.
You don't have it with you. That's great.
I wanted to pay full attention to the Kid Friday recording process here.
Record you upside the head. All right, Steve's a good guy.
I didn't know I was going to be pressed for research.
Steve, the reason we really do have... I'll get to that. All right, Story Cup. You got to check it out. It's awesome, and they are a sponsor of Kid Friday, so we really, truly appreciate that. And by the way, Kid Friday is open to new sponsorship. Not that Story Cup's going away, but you could see your branding, your stuff right here spinning around or doing backflips or who knows what. And the way you can do that, wow, I wonder if this would work. You can go to kidfriday.com and go to contact us. Did you see me put it on there? Look at right above us. See that?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm going to try sliding it in when we come by here. Oh, would you see it drop down? Whoop,
oh,
whoop.
Nice. There you go.
What do you think of that, huh?
Nice.
Huh? I had to practice. Woo,
that was
Story Cub. Thanks for being a sponsor. It is awesome. It really is. It is awesome, and you should check it out. And thank you so much to Story Cup for being a sponsor right here on Kid Friday. All right, Steve, let's get into, we don't edit on this show.
No.
Obviously.
We'll fix it in post.
No, there's no such
thing.
There's no such thing as post here. Now, never mind. We can yap about it. The microphone you're using is, if you look at any old news story, okay, like on YouTube or something like that. I still have the logo on there. If you look at any, that microphone is the staple of every news reporter who is on scene, not in the studio, but we're here at that is an Electro-Voice 635A, and it has been around since the 70s, I believe, and didn't plan on talking about this, but I went through the microphone locker and came across it, and it doesn't look like much, but
I think it looks cool.
It's a great microphone. It is, seriously. You go back and look at some.
I feel like I should be doing a live spot somewhere.
You look at
reporting for Channel 4 or something.
I bet if you go look at some O.J. Simpson reporting outside the courthouse, you're going to see some Electro-Voice 635.
Is this the one where you might see the meteorologist standing outside a Category 4 hurricane? As you can see behind me, the gale force winds are picking up. I really shouldn't be out here much longer.
It's possible. But anything from anything, especially from the 70s, like I don't know what happened in the 70s.
A lot.
Vietnam,
but I hear you.
Whatever.
Any on-the-spot news report.
That was like the go-to mic.
So right when that reporter would say it. And back to you, Karen.
Exactly.
In the studio.
And they go back to the studio. Yeah, exactly. The 635. It is. You can beat the living whatever out of it, and it keeps on ticking.
So if you're out in the field, you want to use one of these.
So yeah. So if you ever need to borrow a microphone, Steve, I've got a couple others that are amazing. But this I forgot all about this. The Electro-Voice 635A. It's just a sweet microphone. All right, now can we get into stuff? I actually first off, I wanted to show you this. Only because I put it together. So in case we have a problem during this, I can say, please stand by. All right. Now, I mentioned previously that I went to McDonald's near here, a couple of blocks away, and they remodeled and they put in these kiosks, and this girl who was not trained in properly. The counter's like right here, Steve. The counter's right here. Mm-hmm. And the kiosk is right here. And you can't go to she said, no, you can't go to the counter to order. You have to order from the kiosk. It's not like they're that's what I said. And so she tried. I just wanted to shake. And anyway, she couldn't figure it out. She wasn't trained properly. I'm not blaming you. So when I was at where did I go? Oh, I went and got a haircut. And on my way back, I walked past this McDonald's, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go in there and just take a couple quick pictures because I've talked about it a couple times now, and show you what it's all about. And so there's the kiosk. All right, I'll bring it up so you can see it a little bit better right there.
And it's a touch screen, of
course. So it's So there's in the McDonald's that's near me here. There are 3 of these, but it's actually 6 because there's that on both sides of that kiosk. See what I'm saying? So right on the other side of that as well. All right. Order and pay here, and then walk 2 feet.
Now, does the machine accept cash? Or probably not, right?
All right. I just took the picture. I know nothing about it. I see that there is a.
It's such a digital world. Everybody pays. I use my debit card.
Let me do this because I can point.
There's like when you pay something right at the supermarket or Home Depot, you can still pay cash.
So right there where I'm pointing, you can swipe your card or insert the chip card and all that stuff.
This is the next extension of your self-service checkout process that you see in grocery stores and all sorts of stores.
Right. Yes, I guess it is. And so
next thing you know, they're gonna ask you to go back there and actually make your burger.
Right now, I'm pointing to it doesn't matter. But you know what? I like mine with no mustard and extra pickle, and right.
You got to touch all that.
And I don't know because I was too frustrated the first time.
I still kind of prefer human interaction.
There is human interaction because everyone was saying, "How do I do this?
This doesn't work.
How do I do this?" So they had to ask. So everyone was asking.
Like more often than not, I go when I'm at Target or going grocery shop, whatever. I bypass the self-service kiosk and I go to the cashier. Well, for starters, because when I'm buying produce, I don't like to type in all those tiny numbers, and you got to do the price lookup and all that stuff. But I prefer, how are you? Have a nice,
touch.
I like to have a personal interaction with everybody.
Touch to order, right?
Tokar, power
see that? See that machine there? Right. Okay. I will tell you this. I will tell you this, Steve. That. So I right over the bridge, perfectly positioned by Studio C. There's a grocery store, right? And there's they have 4 self-checkout lanes, right? And then they have other ones back. And the trick I learned early on, if you want to get something, is as long. Now the thing is though, you can't get anything that needs to be weighed.
No.
So you can't. So if, then forget it. You got to go to the self checkout or whatever. However, if not, you go to the service. What do they call that? Customer service. The customer service lane. Because they sell cigarettes there.
They have registers. You can.
They sell cigarettes there and whatever. And you know what? I just bring my stuff there. They're more than happy to ring it up. It's kind of a pain because you got to move. You got to move your stuff along, and then get lottery tickets and all that stuff. But the worst though, I've run into a couple times. You can get money orders there, and people want to send money across the world, and that's a 20-minute process. And so you learn, you ditch.
You know what I always learned about the self-serve checkouts?
What's that?
No matter how many there are in the store, let's say there's 4 or 6 or 8, there's always at least one, if not 2, are out of order, and there's always at least one, usually 2 people that are about to put the machines out of order because they're screwing up their transaction and they're waiting for that front end person to come up with a little key on the wrist, and type in their special code and just say. So then I end up waiting just as long, waiting for the self-serve kiosk because of those 2 misfunctions all the time. And then I just got to go, I go back, and that's why one of the reasons why I prefer the human interaction.
Well, I will tell you this, that I've gotten to know the people so well over there. Mary helps me out, right? She hooks me up, all right? I go, hey, Mary, how you doing? And she'll like, hey, come over here. Hey, you know
I'll
what?
take care of you.
Don't worry about it,
See? That's where the human interaction pays off, right?
And Mary did she went the extra mile for me. And when people do that, I like to, of course, I thank them very much, but I also like to write into corporate and let them know. And because she helped me pick out some flowers. I need to get some flowers. And what do I know about flowers? Okay,
I like
nothing.
Bright colors.
And she put this whole thing together, and she said, "Here, I'm going to give you an extra fertilizer, whatever deal." And she just totally hooked me up, and I had no idea what I'm doing. And I said, "Mary, is there a manager here?" She goes, "Yeah, it's that guy over there." I went over to him. I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know
Mary's awesome.
that Mary just hooked me up, and I want to I just wanted to tell you what a great experience, and she did a great job." And he said, "You know what? Actually, next week we're starting a program here to recognize employees, and she's going to be number one. She's going to be the first one to be recognized." And then I also wrote into corporate. I wrote into corporate.
See?
I don't complain. You know what? If I have bad service, I don't complain. I don't say anything about. I don't say.
Because I think sometimes people just are having a bad day.
Yeah, I don't say. But when people really go the extra mile, just like someone else recently, I don't want to talk about the purchase due to just kidding. But Mary, thank you very much, and she knows who I'm talking about. She has no idea about Kid Friday, but she hooked me up with what do I know about flowers? All right, can we move on?
Yes.
Because we have yet to get to one story. We have yet to get to one story. Can we get to one story, maybe?
Let's get going to a story.
All right. So tell me, what's your... So we're coming back to school, right? Mm-hmm. Coming up. Some people, are they back to school yet?
I don't know if they are. Already back to school, and a lot of times it's a lot of places. For me, for you, it's summertime. Back to school always started for me. The summer ended after Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend, right? That's when all the... Well,
I know I've been seeing, like, on Facebook, various friends of mine, pictures of their kids. I can't believe so-and-so's in 6th grade, and it's like, wait a minute, it's August 15th or whatever it is. They're going back to school already? That's sad. But then maybe they're getting out of school in May. Who knows?
And it's weird. They put you go to certain stores, and they put the back-to-school stuff out, like
June.
Yeah, right? So which means, we're in August, which means Halloween stuff is going to be coming out next week.
I saw a big... window banner at Goodwill, because Goodwill stores sell a ton of Halloween stuff. It's a huge holiday.
So I was kind of joking, but seriously,
just yesterday, I kid you not, driving by one, it said dare to check out our spooktacular. And it's mid-August. That's just sad.
And one thing though that I have mentioned previously, if you are looking for a new phone, everybody announces their new phones just before the holidays, and now it's really it's become more before Black Friday, and so all the deals will be out. If you're looking for a phone right now, I'd hold off and see what kind of deals they have. which, by the way, I told you earlier. So I'm on this PCS Mobile, which is owned by T-Mobile, so she uses the same towers and stuff. And I've been having issues with getting voice messages. And I called Steve yesterday. He thought, we were talking about this, he thought I was just returning his call.
Yeah. I called you in the morning or sometime.
It never
left you a voicemail message.
Yeah, you did. At 10:41 a.m. or something like that.
Called me back when you called me a couple later, I thought you were actually calling me back. You didn't reference the message. All I did was leave a message. Hey, what are you doing? You want to go biking? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And that's what we ended up talking about anyway, but I had no idea until today when we spoke on the phone.
It showed up. It showed up today.
You just called me out of the blue. You weren't returning a message.
And yeah, I was just calling it. And I've been having problems with people leaving me voice messages that either it seems I don't get or they show up days later, hours sometimes. But I didn't get yours until this morning, and I was on my phone.
If that happened,
like at 2 a.m., so in other words, and it still wasn't there.
Right.
From yesterday. Were you? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, in weird way, I would be complaining about that too if that happened to me, but at the same time, I hate checking my voicemail messages. It's like by the time I see there's a voicemail message, I'll get around to checking it, even when it comes in on time. I usually know what the person's calling about anyway, or they'll text me. It's just I got one more thing to listen to and delete. Or whatever.
Let's face it. The real deal is this: you call someone, they don't answer, you just hang up.
Yeah.
They look at their phone, they see you called, they call you back.
See, it's part of my personal...
Right? No, I'm just saying, though, that's kind of like an unwritten rule.
It's part of my personal interaction kick, if you will. One of my New Year's goals for 2018, not resolutions, was to actually have more conversations with people. So I probably have actually called more people to actually talk with them versus texting.
I will say this: I have had some long conversations with some people lately, and by far the best thing is Bluetooth. I put a Bluetooth headset on. I've got one that just fits in this ear for the car. I've got one, that I listen to for music if I'm riding or whatever. So I can put it in both ears or one ear, and then I can have my phone in my pocket, and then I can actually still get stuff accomplished while I'm talking.
That's been one of my goals, is to have more conversations.
Really?
Not just me talking on my podcast or me talking, but actually like calling friends, keeping in touch with people.
So I see you mentioned your podcast again. You're trying to get another plug-in for the Weapon of Self-Distraction podcast. And
you just named it. I wasn't about to name it. But
that was nicely done. All right, listen, let's just talk. Listen, this is weird because back to school supplies usually means checking you have enough notebooks, papers, pencils, right?
Yeah.
There's a recall on crayons, by the way.
How do you
if you bought them at
making crayons?
I believe there's some kind of asbestos material in them or something like that. Anyway, now parents are thinking of adding another item: bulletproof backpacks. School shootings have become more frequent in years, leaving kids afraid and parents anxious. The violence has led to a surge in the number of companies selling products designed to help kids protect themselves better against handguns and some shotguns. Steve, is that nuts? Look at that.
It's sad as well.
Under Armour has a good-looking backpack. I'll tell you that anyway.
They are good looking, but it's sad though. But
for the first time, major retailers, including Walmart, Home Depot, Office Depot, are selling bulletproof backpacks or bullet-resistant plates that fit backpacks.
When you think of it, that's perfect for Walmart to just complete the circle, because you can buy a gun and ammunition at Walmart.
Yeah, you might as well go full round, right?
Go down the aisle and get your backpack.
According to the Travel Goods Association, the U.S. backpack market last year was a $3.7 billion business, up nearly 10% from the prior year. Bulletproof backpacks have seen one of the most upward demands inquired about, says Yasir Sheikh, president of Guard Dog Security, a maker of and distributor of self-defense products. He said that kids might take the bullet-resistant inserts out of their backpacks and get a false sense of security. Therefore, he said, Guard Dog Security sounds like a commercial for Guard Dog Security. They decided that they would only sell bulletproof backpacks and not the separate bulletproof inserts, because when you think about it, I have no idea, but how heavy would bulletproof insert be? I don't know.
I don't know, but it'd be heavier than a normal backpack, and then you got to load it up with books and everything else in there.
Well, you see
got
these
a generation of kids that are walking around like hunchbacks.
You see these police, okay? You see these police with the bulletproof vests on,
yeah,
right?
They're big.
They don't look, and they're beefy.
Yeah, you need
right?
some thickness.
Bulletproof backpacks. That blows me away. It's I don't know. Some of the backpacks are marketed as so-called level 3A armor protection, a category certified for a .44 Magnum round, but not one from an AR-15.
This is just bumming me out.
The weapon used in February's Parkland, Florida school shooting that killed 17 people. We've probably seen around 200 to 300% increase in sales, according to the Pew Research Center, as reported
That's the
by
guns make. Pew pew.
as reported by the Washington Post. And who owns the Washington Post?
That would be Amazon.com. Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Bezos. Pew pew.
Okay. You know what? You just lost all credibility by doing that. So I'm letting you do it. Go ahead. Pew 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 pew. Go ahead. And then I can really.
Sorry.
You know what?
I'm so sorry.
Cuckoo. We can go like this. So we can go coo.
Oh man, sorry.
Coo. No, you don't have to apologize. You're doing it to yourself. I don't care. Go for it.
Pew Research. We're talking about guns. Pew pew.
Hey, you know what? Anyway, there was a research study, and 25% of teens were very worried. 32% were somewhat worried about guns in schools, and so backpacks that are bulletproof, and I'm sure there's new technology coming out all the time that probably makes these lighter than previously, but this one mentioned it had a plate in it. So, but you can see how a child, if it just had a plate in it. First off, we shouldn't even be talking about this. I mean, this is just craziness.
Let's get on to some happier news.
It's important, though.
I know, you're right.
It's important to.
It's a sign of the times, unfortunately.
What are you, a Prince fan?
Nice reference.
Okay. This 6-year-old girl, right? Oh, sneaky. She's sneaky. Speaking of, you mentioned Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, right? So, they have the one-click shopping. Well, the 6-year-old girl, her mom went and bought a few things and accidentally, I don't know, she walked away. Let's find out. But she left it on there, and the 6-year-old,
so it was on a tablet.
Went right for the toy section.
Right.
So
6-year-olds are smart.
So, they are smart, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think they're smart. And who doesn't love a good shopping spree, right? Do you like a good shopping spree?
I love a good shopping spree.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'll go shopping.
That's kind of a trick question. I'm not a big shopper. I don't like to shop.
I actually like going out and shopping. See, there's another thing about human interaction. Although after a while that can get tiring. And I buy a lot of stuff online too. Like those new Pumas, that was online.
Did I ever tell you the story about Puma?
You did earlier today.
I did on a previous podcast as well. So the 6-year-old girl, right? Her name's Caitlin. She's become an internet hero by secretly going on a $350 shopping spree on Amazon. It all started when her mother ordered her a Barbie as a birthday gift. And then under the guise of checking the doll's shipping progress, Caitlin went on Amazon and used one-click ordering to get several boxes of toys, video games, board games delivered to their house the next day, according to BuzzFeed. They just started unloading box after box after box. Caitlin's cousin, Rhea, told BuzzFeed. Her mom went on to say that her Amazon account, and she saw the 3 pages of things that her daughter had ordered. A photo that was shared on Twitter went viral, getting more than 54,000 likes, 19,000 tweets.
What was the photo of?
Of Caitlin getting her the truck, the boxes of it. What are you pointing at?
I just happened to notice it says she even posed for a photo with the Amazon delivery driver.
Yeah, she
That's
did.
the greatest
Yes,
thing. She is really smart. She not only knew exactly.
And now she's the latest reality. She's going to get
6. This is great.
She's going to be a reality star.
She didn't just get a picture of her of herself with any of the boxes with the Amazon delivery driver. That is the
why not?
That's fantastic.
Why? You know what? First off, Amazon has pretty liberal return policies.
So she didn't keep it. Any of the stuff.
However, on a previous Kid Friday, not too long ago, we reported that Amazon, if you return too many things to Amazon, they will, without notice, they will cancel your account.
Really?
If they think you're they
think you're trying to game the system?
Well, a lot of people, I mentioned like a lot of people buy something locally, right? They buy let's say they buy an Xbox or so, I don't know what, and it breaks.
Right.
So they go on to Amazon and then they take the new one out and then they put the old one back in and they return it. Now a lot of these have electronics have serial numbers on them, so that match up. So that's hard to do, but there are a lot of products out there. I think that a lot of people try and go,
sure.
whatever. So anyway, but if there's people who. There have been people complaining that their Amazon account was shut down without notice, and then they're finding out though it's because they returned too much. I do not have a Prime membership currently. I did, and I have returned some things. I have had some things with problems with some sellers and things like that. And I will say this, Amazon has been really good. I ordered some for Studio C here. It's a long story, but I needed these certain lights, and it's kind of like the Philips Hue. You familiar with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but those are really expensive. So I found some less expensive ones on Amazon, ordered them up, and they were supposed to come. And it says, and this happens all the time around here. I hear it from people. It says that it was signed for by somebody and delivered
to your place.
So I call them up and talk to a real person, Steve. Talk to a real person, and said, "Look, it says delivered, but it's not. I'm telling you, I checked with the front desk. I checked with this. They have these package lockers here and all this stuff, and they said we're really sorry. We're going to credit your account." And if by some chance, this was on a Friday, they said if by some chance it should happen to arrive, just go ahead and keep it.
A couple weeks ago, Can
I finish this?
Yeah, go on. I thought you were finished. Sorry.
So I said, okay, thank you very much for returning my money. I'm never going to see this thing. On Monday, it showed up. They told me to keep it. But it said it had already been delivered. Who knows what happened to it? But, okay. I'll be quiet now. You can tell me your story.
You just reminded me a couple weeks ago.
I don't want to remind you of anything because...
A couple weeks ago, I bought something on Amazon.
Yeah.
And, I get the email saying it's out for delivery, or it has been shipped. It's out, your package will be delivered today. And then, I think it was on my phone, I got a photo of the package at my doorstep.
Nice, yeah. Amazon started this thing. You can track your package if it's within 5 stops of, if it's delivered by Amazon or one of their approved affiliates. If it's within 5 stops of your residence or whatever, it'll actually show you exactly where it is on the truck.
Wow, and
they wanted to show you a picture of it to prove that it was delivered.
Okay,
so it's liability. It's better for it's best for them. They didn't do. You may think that they're doing it you as a favor. It's
I know why they're doing it. I just think it was pretty darn slick.
You hear about and it happens all the time, especially around the holidays. There are people who follow UPS trucks because they drop packages and leave them at the front door because a lot of it no signature required, blah blah blah, and people are taking packages, and it's crazy. And then I've heard of people taking like stolen credit card numbers, and they have something delivered to the house to the guy next door. because they know he works all day and it's supposed to be delivered whenever, right? And so it's a phony number, and then UPS or whatever delivers it, and they just go next door, take the package, and then they think it's the guy who lives at that house. Well, I'm surprised you don't have any commentary on that one.
No,
I thought for sure you had something saying that.
It's,
fine.
You know, people are always looking for, you know, a leg up and an arm out.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say something? I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? Are you familiar with Google?
A little bit.
Google, even Google, and
That would be owned by the Alphabet company, right?
Google is, you know what? That's a funny name. We were talking about names earlier of bands, and what bands were we talking about that were kind of
Sonics?
No, but goofy names. Oh, I said the first time I heard there's a band out called the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I was like, that's crazy, you know. And then, and then I hear about there was a band called Toad the Wet Sprocket.
That's right.
Now, how bad of a name is that? That's like the worst name ever, and they end up with how many hits and how many millions of. And then Joseph W. Schuld managed, maybe he still does, what's his name? The singer, I forget.
Oh, Glenn Phillips?
All I remember is this.
That was his name, I think.
All I remember Steve, is that they were on, and I'm sorry, because they were on tour. They were on tour, and they played Roy Wilkins Auditorium.
I was at that show.
So was I.
With you. I was there.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't remember you being there, but I'm not questioning whether you were with me or not. I'm sure you were. And they had this little band opening up for them called Hootie and the Blowfish, okay? And that band opened up, and then Toad the Wet Sprocket, and then 2 weeks later, this band Hootie had a song that just blew up like crazy, and they were off that tour like that, and they were
Yeah.
And nothing against Toad the Wet Sprocket.
No, they were big at the time,
they were big.
But they didn't get as big as Hootie.
But Hootie, and who's it? Darius Rucker? He does country stuff now,
he's
right?
got a
And
huge country career.
Yeah, I mean, like a huge kind. He really revived. You know what? Some people just go away, and he reinvented himself.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, after he did a solo album right when he left Hootie, or they went on hiatus and broke up. And his first solo album was actually a soul R&B record, which is actually pretty good. But I remember reading at the time when his country record, he said, "That's not who I am." He said, "I was, I grew up with and in and listening to country music and more rootsy stuff, because that's what he did in Hootie." And so for him to do an R&B record was a little bit weird, but now he's had a ton of hits.
Anyway, that all happened before you were born.
Many years.
It happened before you were born. Now, I did have a conversation with someone last night about music and what their kids would listen to, and they're like, every single song has the word this in it and that in it, and and it's.
I share a Spotify account with my son, and sometime frequent Kid Friday guest here a few years back, and it's always funny to see what he's been. I'll go on to Spotify on my phone,
right.
He's out on his phone, and it's like, he's a big Drake fan.
I will mention this again. Do you have a student account? Are you using a free account or
no? I pay $10, $9 a month.
Okay, so he's a student. So get a student account. Go on there, and for $4.99 a month, you can get a premium. I love Spotify. I have no affiliation with them or anything. I've had since really early on. But for $4.99 a month, Steve, you can get a student account. You go on there and you put the name in and say what school, and it goes blah, 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 like it's doing something. Hey, you're approved.
Right.
And on top of cutting your price in half, you also get Hulu with limited commercial interruption that's included as part of your Spotify account. So
I need to discontinue my current Spotify account, re-sign up for a student account.
No, I think you can go back in the same account and
I'll have to check it out.
say because you don't want to lose all your playlists and all that stuff. I mean, you know what? I have years of playlists in there that I would hate to lose. All sorts of stuff. But it's really easy, and it'll save you. That's the only subscription I have besides regular cable TV, is I have a Spotify premium account. I didn't say I have a student one, although I'm always studying up on new things. So
aren't we all? Shouldn't we all just be eternal students of life?
Yeah, I think we're all. I think we're always learning. So I say we're all in school. So
just
we
the sum total of all of our experiences.
So we all qualify for the school of life. But you should do that, though. You know what?
I know you're right.
It's
save me some money.
$5 is $5.
Hey.
We know how cheap you are. So I mean,
yeah, I know. Save me over $70 a year. Why not?
70,000. What?
70.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm kidding. But really, seriously, and when you're on the premium account, all right, they have changed it a couple times. I'm big into audio. Okay, audio stuff. Very, very, very picky. And when you have a premium account, originally you could go up to, it streams at 128 kilobits, but you can go up to 320. And then they changed it to like regular or I forget what they called it, right? Something else. But now I think they're back to, you can stream at 128, 256 or 320. And I challenge you, Steve, to listen to a song at 128 kilobytes per second, and then listen to that same song at 320, and tell me you don't hear the difference.
You can really hear a difference, huh?
You know. Now, if you have an unlimited data plan, that would be important, maybe, because it does take more data to run it. I'm always at 320, and I can tell the difference. I'm not saying I'm anyone special, but if I'm really passionate about what I listen to and music, and I know Steve, you are too, because you like that Bunny Carlos guy, right? Was that a snort I just heard?
Sorry.
You don't have to apologize. I'm just fussing you on that. I don't know. All right. So Google admits it tracked user location data even when the setting was turned off.
What? I am shocked.
Now you're an Android user, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Android phones gather your location and data and send it to Google even if you've turned off your location services.
Of course they do.
And don't have a SIM card. That was reported by Quartz. The term location services sometimes refers to the exact GPS data for app usage, such as Google Maps, finding your best commute route, or Uber, figuring out exactly where you're standing to let drivers know where your pickup point is. Well, Quartz reports details a practice in which Google was able to track your location by triangulating which cell towers were currently servicing a specific device. Since January, all kinds of Android phones and tablets have been collecting the addresses of nearby cellular towers and sending the encrypted data to Google. Google's push notification and messaging management system when connected to the internet. It's a practice that customers can opt or can't opt out of, even if their phones are factory reset. A Google spokesperson, some kind of spokesperson, said in a statement to Verge online that all modern Android phones use a network sync system that requires mobile county codes and mobile network codes. So tower info, called cell ID codes, were considered, blah, 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 blah. Basically, there are cell towers all over the place, and as you are driving or moving somewhere, your signal will change from this tower to that tower, and it can pick up where your approximate location is,
right,
no matter where you are. Now, if you are up to, if you're a good person and not up to any shenanigans, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, do you?
Listen, like I said in the beginning, the moment you fill out your first online form, put your email address anywhere, you have a phone number anywhere, just expect that you don't have privacy. I mean, so this news it's not surprising to me.
I know.
Most of the time I keep location services on anyway because Actually, I keep it on all the time.
Well, you can go on. You can go
I can
on
use
into
maps and everything else.
You can go through. You can go through each app though and turn it on or off.
I do. Well, a lot of those I do turn off because I just don't want to be bothered with all the notifications. I don't need my phone going off every time. I didn't have it turned off before, and 3 times a day I was getting notifications from eBay and Amazon.
You know what? There's only 14 left.
Yeah, I don't want to
on eBay, right? They're you know what? There's.
I get enough spam emails. I don't need crap showing up on my phone. So I turn off a lot of those things. But as far as all this stuff, whenever companies come out and say, "Well, actually, we were really doing this," don't be shocked. Of course they were.
Yeah, but you see, they're admitting it not in a way like, "Oh, we made a mistake and we're going to correct it." It is just part of what you signed. And
have you ever seen those agreements? Have you ever tried to read any of them?
I was going to say, tell me one person that has actually read the entire agreement before they signed it. You're somewhere, you're getting a phone, whatever. You know what? Some of them make you have to scroll to the bottom of the page to actually sign it, and you don't know. Yeah. You either do or you don't.
Anybody who does not expect, any company they deal with not to have it over on them and have all the sorts of information of their own out there is being incredibly naive and must have been living under the rock the last 20 years.
What?
So.
What are you talking about?
Anyway.
20 years ago. Now, I remember the first cell phone I got. It was in 1990. It was an Audio Vox, and it had a big thing on it, and I had to pull the antenna up.
Yeah, mine was 1994.
And the battery life, maybe I could get like 20 minutes out of it. And then I remember years later, probably around... Because Steve and I used to work in the same office.
That's when I got my first. When we were working together, that's when I got my first. It was through Cellular One.
I had one before. Then not to try and outdo you, but someone else, Mark, and I, we became buddies with some guy who worked for AT&T. All right, so we would always get the newest, latest phones.
Right.
Okay. Guy would hook us up, and I still have it somewhere. I got this Nokia phone. It was all in chrome, and it was small, and it flipped up, and it was like you could, and that's why I think phones are going back. By the way, I think you're going to come up. The closing phones you put in your pocket, that's coming back.
I'd like it because I'm forever butt dialing or. And 19 apps open and my battery dies. And
it said it had a built-in antenna, so nothing you could pull up. And that was the worst phone I've ever had in my entire life. And that was the top of the line. It had horrible service. The built-in antenna, because all the old ones, you had to pull them up, right? I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, I don't even remember now. No, I was going to say, you know what? I mean, remember when the trend was for phones to keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller? There was...
there's...
the Motorola Minis, those little ones, they're like the size of a chiclet. You just opened up. And,
of course, you have the iWatch now and Samsung, stuff so like that. And they're adding more features to that as well. But I think the flip phone is actually going to come back because of technology. There's a technology called OLED, which is organic light emitting diodes. And what that allows you to do with a screen is actually you can have a screen that can bend. That can fold. So can't you imagine like a phone that, you can actually stick in your pocket, but when you open it up, you have a full screen the same size of your phone now.
Yeah.
If not bigger. But,
Because I don't necessarily like a big phone. I mean, I got a Samsung, standard size, and it's a little bit bigger than the last one, and it's just like... If I could fold that up,
pretty cool.
Take some space in your pocket.
Well, you know what I don't like? I don't like if I forget to wear a belt and I'm wearing jeans and then I stick my phone in my back pocket and my jeans start to come down because there's a little extra weight there from the phone, and then I'm looking like one of those guys, and I don't want to be, because I don't wear boxers. That's irrelevant.
No, that happens to me because I basically have a straight line from the shoulders to the heels. Right? There's nothing holding my pants up.
Bottom line is, you know what? You put a little weight in your back pocket and at the wrong time and. Regardless, I'm just saying smaller to me is better
when it comes to phones.
And with this new emitting OLED, and there's OLED screens out now on TVs, which are able to make televisions much thinner as well. But it's bendable screen. And you know what? it's like I'm sure there's something well beyond that already, and we don't even know it. What was I going to talk about? What were we going to talk about? Oh, we're going to talk about this hacker guy. You know what? Did I put that in there? Did I put? Oh, that's right. We're going to come up real tips or myths or whatever.
Myths,
okay,
let's get to myths.
Yeah. We're going to do that. But where did I put this? I didn't put it on anywhere. So I'm going to put this up. Wow. Check this out. Stand by, please. Please stand by. I thought I had dinner. Don't I have some kind of apple schnapple on there or something? I don't see that. But here's a picture of Studio C I shared on the last podcast. Ooh. to give everyone a look at what we're. Is that what we're looking at right now? Well, he's looking at the pool. He's looking at these girls down at the pool, and we're going to get a pool cam.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
All right, I was.
Liar. A Melbourne, Australian private school boy reportedly broke into Apple's secure computer system, is facing criminal charges after the technology giant called the FBI. The teen, who can not be named for legal reasons, broke into Apple's mainframe from his suburban home on multiple occasions over a year because he was such a fan of the company, his lawyer said. So, it's like...
So he was a benevolent hacker. That's nice of him.
Hey, give him a break. He's a fan. He's a fan,
Such a fan. I want to see what's going on inside all the time.
Yeah, the prosecution... let's just say he's 16 years old, right? He's been doing it since 16 and tunnels online bypassing systems to hide his identity until a raid on his family home uncovered a litany of hacking files and instructions, all saved in a folder titled... What would you name it?
Hack.
What would you... Not Apple Hack. You got part of it right. He had a folder called Hack, Hack, Hack.
Top secret.
Yeah, he had a folder called Hack, Hack, Hack. So, bottom line is Apple's very sensitive information. 2 Apple laptops were seized, and the serial numbers match the serial numbers of the devices which access the internal system. So,
they'll probably be offered a job.
You know what? Exactly. You know what? These are the guys. You know what? It's the guys who break into banks into their computers. We want to hire you.
Yeah, if you can get in, now teach us how to keep people out.
Now that reminds me. Have you seen the movie Catch Me If You Can?
Yes.
And I would recommend that to anyone.
Great movie.
Catch Me If You Can with
Tom Hanks, Leonardo
DiCaprio. Yeah, and Leonardo DiCaprio was
Christopher Walken.
He plays a kid. He plays a kid.
Mm-hmm. True story.
Yeah, based on a true story. Yeah, and he forges checks and he does all this stuff and he's making phony money and all this stuff.
You call him a pre-digital hacker.
And what happens? He ends up working for the FBI. Now. This is a little different because his choice was you can go to jail or you can work for the FBI.
Right.
He chose to work for the FBI.
But it was a hard choice for him to make. He hated it at first, remember? He loved the action. He loved being...
Yeah,
he was a scam artist. Remember, he not only forged checks, he also was he faked being a pilot, remember? He faked being a surgeon. Assuming identities. He was... That's where I learned
the word concur. Because when he was a doctor,
I concur.
The guy said, "Well, this guy has doctor. Do you concur?
I concur.
Do you concur? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah.
Do you concur?
I concur.
I heard that they played that movie at the Lake Harriet Bandshell outside a couple of nights ago.
Ooh, I would have gone to have seen that. I wish my kid loves that movie too. I would have.
Isn't that a great movie? You know what?
It's a great movie. And they have the look down too, don't they? The Pan Am and the whole '60s era and everything.
This could be your lucky day. 2 reasons. Number one, I don't know why I still have some DVDs, but I believe I have Catch Me If You Can. I still have that one. And number 2, I have it set aside, and I keep forgetting to remind you. Sorry, personal stuff. I found the Idol Maker. So
we gotta watch that
Oh
sometime.
yeah,
I haven't seen that in ages.
I have the soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, let's wrap this up and
All
watch
right.
it. Come on.
I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah,
right?
no, dude, we've been talking about this movie for 20 years.
And I haven't seen it forever.
I haven't seen it forever either. I see it on TV all the time.
And I intentionally am not watching it until you, because I'm saving it for us.
Yeah, yeah.
But I believe I do have Catch Me If You Can on DVD still somewhere. I think it's actually I'm using it to hold something. I'm using it as a level. I am.
That's what we do with DVDs.
I am. Anyway, this teenage hacker got hacked. All right. So enough of that stuff. Okay. So your battery. What do you do? Steve? What do you do about your battery?
You know what? I'll tell you. It's interesting because, in all truth, I mean, yeah, the easiest thing to do is turn your phone off. But let me tell you this.
I need to interrupt you because what did you just say? To tell you the truth. Okay.
What else? Why would I?
This is one. No, I'm sharing something with you that someone taught me years ago, and I like to pass this along because I think it's really good information. Because I said once to him, I said, to tell you the truth, and he said,
what else are you going to tell me?
When you say that, it could make people believe that everything else you say is a lie and you're not being truthful.
When somebody says, "Can I be honest with you?" Actually, I prefer you don't.
And that made such an impact on me that I share that with a lot of people who say that, and they end up thanking me, and they say, "You know what? I don't say that anymore. I haven't said it in probably, I learned this was like 15 years ago." Well, to tell you the truth, I don't think it's right. I never, it's easy to say.
Right.
And that's one thing. I thought that was really good advice, and I like to pass that along.
Thank you.
So, you know what? To tell you the truth, you come over, to tell you the truth, I didn't watch the movie.
Right.
No, whatever. I'm just it's not you personally. I share it with a ton of people. All right. So, what were we talking about?
Phone batteries.
Oh.
Myths. Let me tell you what I do about. I'm curious. This is what I do, but I'm curious to know if any of these are myths. So one, obviously, I turn the phone off when I don't use it, right? And the other thing is, because my old phone, as my phone got older, the battery wouldn't take a charge so long. I was constantly using the power saving feature.
What's that?
S5. There was two power saving. There's ultra power saving feature, which basically turned everything off, darkened the screen. You can only use it for phone calls. And then there was a medium one where it darkened the screen. It slowed a bunch of things down, but I could also text if I needed to, and I could get on the, I can get on a few different apps.
And you're talking, I don't mean to interrupt. Is this like if you're at 10% or something like that?
Yeah. So all of a sudden it would be down. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to charge this for a while, so let me turn on power saving. Huh. And then the other thing I do is I went in and looked, and I do this with my new phone too. Is I looked at all those apps that are running in the background that I never use, that I might not use very often. It's like, why do I need Lyft running in the background when I might not use it for 6 months? Why do I use? You know what I mean?
Sometimes I don't.
Like the dating apps I use all the time.
He's a swiper. You know what? He's Mr. Swipe.
I swipe left a lot.
To tell you the truth,
but
he's Mr. Swipe.
But honestly, I mean, I don't. I use my bank app a couple times. I mean, does turning off the apps that run in the background, does that save any battery?
Well, it might. You know what? It might save a little bit if with your bank. If you give us your password, then we can do it for you.
What are those myths?
We could do it for you. Could you tell us?
No. Can't help you.
Bank account number?
Can't help.
Doesn't matter. Someone already has it.
Probably.
No, not probably.
It's not much money they can take from it.
It's nothing to do with it. It has to do with privacy and trust, and you can't.
Most days there's only a 2-digit number in there, so they can't take much.
Really? Is that
maybe
your passcode?
No.
You should use
the amount of money that's in there.
You should use symbols and how many passwords do you have? I
use a variation of just
200 and some odd passwords. It's crazy.
Can't remember more than 3.
And they should never be the same. You should change them. And you do all this stuff, and it's. I mean, you should do it, and it's important. But you shouldn't. You should do it. But you shouldn't do it. All right. Myth number 1. And this is one that got me. Closing apps you're not using can save battery life.
Did I just say that? Is that a myth? It's a myth. What a waste. See?
It's a safe bet that at some point you know someone who compulsively shuts off apps on their smartphone to save battery. to save some battery life, they hit the home button twice. That's exactly what I do.
I do the same.
And swipe up on various apps they've used in the past until the carousel is cleared.
Yep.
In fact, this does not save battery life and may actually use extra power when you reopen apps you've totally switched off. Now, this is for iPhones, okay? But I think it's very, yeah.
Smartphone to smartphone.
Apple's top software executive even confirmed this in an email to a user that said you should force an app to close when it's unresponsive. Now that I know because that'll suck it up, and it's pretty interesting, right? So that because I double click and then I'm like boom 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 boom, right? Mm-hmm. Because there are apps that load. See, that's why I'm not questioning the myth, but there are apps that continually, especially gaming ones that are free, that continually download advertising. But maybe it's not doing it when it's in the background, only when it's actually up front. I'm not, I'm not sure on that. Do you charge your phone a lot?
I do. I keep it charged overnight. I plug it in.
You can't get the mic.
I plug it. Yeah. I plug it in.
Here. You getting tired?
Sorry.
You move it down a little bit for you?
I plug it in at night. Unplug it in the morning when I leave. So it's charging it's plugged in 6 or 7 hours. And I keep it plugged in when I'm around the house. I'm listening to a podcast or doing something, If it's at like 70, 80%, I'll just charge it back up again. But I keep it plugged in all night long while I'm sleeping. And I've been told that that's not good for the battery. So is that a myth?
I think you're reading my notes personally.
No. I'm just asking. Because
I
was wrong on one myth.
I will say this. I plug my phone in constantly.
Yeah.
It's plugged in right now as we speak.
Yeah.
I think.
I plug in mine all the time.
But I get in the car. What's the first thing I do?
Plug it in.
And it's at 100%.
Right.
I still plug it in because I don't know. I get to my office. What do?
Plug it in.
I plug it in. You know why? Because I listen to Spotify all day, and so I know that that'll bring the battery down, and we don't have. And on top of that, we don't have. Well, put it this way: there is Wi-Fi in the office, and I use enough data as it is that I just use my own data off the phone to use Spotify because I'm a data hog, like beyond belief, like more than you would ever know. You upload 4 gig, 5 gig files, and slows all of a sudden. Hey, down the hall. We're all running really slow down here
because Dave's uploading gigantic files.
And so all right. So what's another myth? Another myth, Steve. Yes, charging your phone overnight can hurt your battery. What? Is that a myth? That's a myth. For years, some users have insisted that plugging your smartphone in while you sleep can harden the battery. I never thought that myself. Maybe it made sense years ago, but it's overblown today. Instead, your battery lifespan depends on the cycle count or how many times you've charged your battery over its lifetime. Modern smartphones, including the iPhone, have advanced power management systems that mean that they won't take in more current than necessary to charge them, meaning that leaving it plugged in after it reaches 100% won't have any effect. All rechargeable batteries are consumables and have a limited lifespan. Eventually, their capacity and performance decline, so they need to be replaced, Apple writes in a support document. Of course they do. Of course they do. Why? Because they want to sell you a new battery.
Of course.
Now, in the past, I've said this before, and I figured it out. Certainly in the past year, I've had my battery. I have an iPhone 6S. I also have a 6S Plus. I went back to the 6. I'm back to the smaller one. And then I go into the settings and I make the font big. So it's like, what's that all? It's like. Have to, you know what? My jeans don't slide down though as much because that 6S phone. Plus is big, right?
Right.
Regardless, I've had the battery on my iPhone 6S replaced twice this past year. It had failed And if you think you have a problem and there's a Apple store near you, I would say get a Genius Bar appointment and go in there, and they have a machine that they will hook up to your iPhone, and if it shows it's below 80%, mine was 79, they'll replace your battery. But let's get back to this sign, because speaking of battery, myth number 3: Apple's $29 battery replacements are guaranteed to improve your battery life, which is just not true, because it's more about the phone. I mean, there was a scandal last year when it was discovered that Apple sometimes reduced the power of iPhone processors with old and spent batteries. And, so they made this $29 replacement, which I believe is good until the end of this year. So if your maximum capacity is under 80%, you might want to charge it. Otherwise, if you're only missing a few percentage points, you can probably wait. I always turn mine on. I just that's it. Anyway, if you have an iPhone, very, very easy. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. There we are. Very easy to check your battery's health if you have an iPhone. You can go into settings, okay, and battery, and then battery health. It's in beta right now, but you should have gotten it. If your phone is up to date, which you should, always get the updates, okay?
Mine happened automatically.
Because, that's great. So, yeah.
In fact, I have barely a week in owning my new phone. It said, there's updates. Do you want to update now?
I used to not get the updates right away, because there used to be there used to always be flaws in them, and then there would be another update that would be pushed out like a week later. However, now in the days that we live, all of these updates usually contain some type of security update as well, and that is the
Paramount. That's what you want.
Paramount. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount. You looking at my notes?
Yeah.
You trying to?
Yeah, I want to see what's next. Be prepared.
You know what? Why don't you just look at that, okay? You look at that.
All right.
Tell me what you see. You like the green or you like the red?
I like the red.
Turning off settings like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi will always save battery life. Did you think that? I used to think that.
I keep like that's part of keeping things off.
Are you looking? You see, you're voicing away because you're looking down at the pool.
I twitched.
You're looking at the girls down at the pool.
Not. Come on.
What do you mean? Come on. You know what? We're very transparent here at Kid Friday. All right, we are. We're trying to help you.
I get distracted easily. What can I tell you?
And we're giving you good stuff. Well, now you're gonna make me.
I get distracted. I gotta get going. It's like.
Oh yeah, you gotta get going.
I got a bike home. My bike here.
You know what? You want to give you a ride home?
No.
Would that help?
No, I got my bike here. As long as I got.
All right.
Got a few minutes left.
All right, we went for a bike ride, and I'm just saying. I believe this arm is fractured. Or this, is it my arm? What is it? My shoulder. I believe I have a fracture.
I'm bummed out.
I kid you not. Or how do I say? To tell you the truth, I think I have. I think I have a fractured.
You have to let me know what happens.
We'll get that. We'll get terrible. Luckily, it just happens to be I have my annual physical tomorrow. It's not until the afternoon, but I bet I get an X-ray. And I bet I end up with. I don't know what they do. I don't think it's broken, by any means, but I bet it's fractured.
Maybe we'll see.
And I'm coming after you.
Or it's severely bruised.
I'm coming after you.
It's my fault.
Do you have an umbrella policy?
I don't.
You don't. Okay, well, I'm getting your car.
Take my car. I can use a new one, steal it.
That's not very nice. All right, now, if you have an Apple Watch and you turn Bluetooth off, it not only will stop your Apple Watch from working correctly, it could also drain the battery faster. Leave the Bluetooth on. However, if you're in an area with bad cellular connection, that can negatively impact your battery life because you're trying really hard to connect, So it's really using the juice. In fact, Wi-Fi users use much less power than cellular networks. So Apple recommends keeping Wi-Fi on at all times. Now, I disagree because I'm in the car driving along. If I have Wi-Fi on and I'm at a stoplight, all of a sudden it's picking up these Wi-Fi networks around me, and it pops up on your screen, and it's just a pain.
Yeah.
Has that happened to you?
Yeah.
It has, right? So I
usually when I'm connected, I know, I get what you're saying.
if I'm in the car, I know I'm not going to be on I don't have Wi-Fi.
Turn it off.
I turn it off because, like I say, every time, you know what, and all, you stop at, you stop at 28th and Lindale, and what happens? Oh, all these local networks pop up. All right, I know you got to go. All right, I'll hurry up. All right, I'll hurry up. Actually, I think we did 5. Did we do 5?
4.
What?
Are you sure? 4 was myth 5.
All right. All right. I'll give you 5.
I don't have an iPhone,
5.
so this is educational for me.
I think this is good
But I wonder if it makes sense for my phone.
I bet it does. It's not like their technology is. They all use batteries. They all have screens. They all use Wi-Fi. They all have Bluetooth.
They're all related.
You know what I mean? Related, I'm not sure by blood, or
you know what I mean.
I mean, well, you were adopted, so I'm not quite sure. All right, here's the last one. Letting the iPhone adjust brightness automatically hurts battery life. While it might be tempting to manually control your iPhone brightness, dimming it when you need extra juice and ramping it up when you don't, Apple says that its auto brightness setting actually saves battery life. And you can go into settings, and my favorite section, accessibility, all right, and display accommodations and auto brightness. You can turn auto brightness on.
You know what's interesting? On my phone, I have auto brightness, and it is always too dark for me.
Oh,
I hate it. So I turn that off, and I turn up, but that uses more battery life because I need it brighter.
Well,
but it's auto brightness is supposed to adjust the brightness based on your surroundings, and I'm telling you, I've been in like places that are a little bit darker. If you're in a restaurant or whatever, I'm like, I turn on auto brightness just see what happens.
Sure.
And it stays really dark. I can barely read the damn thing.
Yeah. I was going to say that I don't know what I was going to say.
Sorry.
About auto brightness. Oh, I was going to say there's so many interesting settings in there, and you know what? I'm going to say I'm no Apple rookie. Okay, I'm not a genius, but even the genius had a problem with it. So they fixed my phone. They put a new battery in. They gave me a new screen. They gave me a new screen protector. All right, I'm leave. All right, A couple days later, whatever, I'm listening to music, and it's way on the right channel, right on the right side, and not the left side. And
the balance?
Yeah, the balance, exactly. And I'm like, you know what? When those guys took the phone apart, they must have messed something up with the jack, or whatever, So I make this genius appointment to go back. I go, I was in here. You did this, and I don't know. And the guy says, I don't know. I said, listen, I said, I don't want to try and start something when I don't have to.
Right.
So, he said exactly. He said, look, I'm going to bring it in the back. We're going to check it out, and I'll just give me a minute. We'll do some diagnostic. I hate when they take your phone though. It's like they're taking away your life.
You're forced to stand there with no phone.
I gave someone my phone that is unlocked. That's what I'm talking about, right? So he comes back out and he goes. So this, he showed me if you go into accessibility or this, that, and the sound, there's a left and right. You can actually, because like if some person is more deaf on one side than the other, whatever, there's actually an adjustment.
A setting, so it's more on one ear than the other.
Yeah, so the setting was somehow I got in there or whatever. I think it was my fault, and I accidentally changed the setting on the balance of the sound, and he showed me. He said, "Yeah, see, look, we just put it back." I plugged some headphones in, and I'm like, "Wow, thank you." I made but I couldn't figure it out on my own. I didn't really want to search on Google too much because I thought it was just a weird coincidence that they just did this, and then all of a sudden, I thought there was a connection between getting the new battery, getting that, and the screen, and then all of a sudden this happens. I just thought it was a genius. Right. I thought it was an Apple thing, and it wasn't. I think it was me. Or maybe, you know what?
User error.
You know what, though? Now that I think about it, it could have been them, that they accidentally kicked the balance, one way or another. And you know what? Because it did. Right when I walked out of there, ever since then, it was like that.
Right.
So maybe it was an accident, whatever. Bottom line is there's a balance control in there. All right. Now, do we cover everything? I have no idea. Any final words, Steve? 'Cause I think there was some more stuff. And
Final words? I'm glad to be back. I like doing this. It's been a while. Thanks for having me.
And you know what? I didn't give you a hard enough time.
No, but next time I'm here, we'll have to discuss rotisserie chickens again in Costco.
You know what?
Not now,
You know, it's
because I'm going to have
interesting.
bladder failure.
I just deleted the rotisserie chicken picture that I had saved. I don't know if I have.
Don't look for it now.
Well, my arm hurts. My arm hurts really bad. I think I have a problem here. I don't know. National Rotisserie Chicken Day, though, is June 2nd.
Wow.
So you know that, all right.
Yeah, we know.
This is a 2018 KidFriday.com production. All rights reserved for personal use only. And you app people who scrape podcasts and monetize them without the creator getting a share of the revenue is wrong. And you should get permission first prior to putting content and monetizing on it without the consent. And I'm repeating myself. And this guy can work out. I'm going to send him after you. And if you want to have Kid Friday on your platform, a lot of people, Kid Friday's in over 226 countries, 224. I forget what it was last time I checked. No, that was Story Cover. Oh. And we appreciate it. We appreciate all your support and everything. But it's just plain wrong. And shouldn't you get permission before you put it on? Instead, you put it on, and then you have to send them. And we both of us know about takedown notices and cease and desists and all that stuff. And I had to do that recently with someone. I sent that to them, and they replied, and they said, "It's funny." They replied in such a kind of a, cocky way, in that. Because I threatened legal action. We took it off yours, and we will make sure it is not available to all of our network. You know what I mean? Right. It's like and I'm like, yeah. You know what? I looked you up on the original Alexa, which gives you the ranking number of a website, and it's like, you know what? You don't even show up. So, whatever. Is that wrong though? You're a podcaster.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think...
You have the Weapon of Self-Distraction podcast.
Yeah, weaponofselfdistraction.com. But no, it's, listen, it's, on the one hand, they're making their platform available to you. On the other hand, you're driving people to that platform. Maybe they discover other podcasts, so you should, you're popular, you're
right.
providing some traffic to them too. And
so it's good for StoryCub, because StoryCub would get more people know about StoryCub. And if you want to be a sponsor right here on Kid Friday, we would love to hear from you, and there's a special button, I believe, on our website at kidfriday.com. Look at this. Ooh, it's so nice. I did it twice. Boom, boom, boom. You like that?
That's nice.
Yeah, I can have it coming from the side. And I was going to say, should I make some adjustments? No, I'm not going to make it.
It looks perfect. Leave it as is.
Oh, okay. All right. 2018, Kid Friday production. All rights reserved. All right. For personal use only. Okay. Oh, or just a facilitator between you and the podcast. That's I don't know about that business plan. All right, we'll talk to you on the next show. Have a great week. Tell all your friends about Kid Friday. And gosh darn it, Steve, I said that we were going to answer some questions and stuff.
You did?
Yeah, on Facebook. I said, I said, join us on our Facebook because we have, and people send us stuff to give away. And we want to give it away to people who join us on our Facebook page or our YouTube. Or the more places you enter, the more your chances of potentially winning something. And I wanted to go to the Kid Friday page really quick because, gosh darn, I think I saw some stuff and.
Hey, I always
Kid
Friday Facebook page.
I always forget about it. Yeah, and you know what? For 2 years now, Steve has, and I helped him get his podcast going.
You did, thank you.
For 2 years, he's told me that I really want to have you on my podcast.
I will.
And I'm still waiting for that invitation.
I will. I got to do it.
I'm still waiting for that invitation. Do I see something anywhere? We'll get to it in the next one. I swear. I say that all the time, but I really mean it. I saw comments. You know what it was? It was on Twitter. It was on Twitter, is what it was. And I'm so sorry, Steve's got to go, but. We will, and you can follow. We have some good news on there too, stories. I'll find it. Write to us on Twitter. We will read you.
Tweet at us at Kid Friday.
Yeah. We will spread the love, spread the Kid Friday love, and help us do that. That would be great. And we will be reading comments. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make a note saying we're gonna start out with comments and some stuff like that on the next show. So, all right, take it easy. Steve's ready. Look at that. He's out of here.
Stretching a little bit.
No, you're not.
Plus, I'm gonna have bladder failure.
He wants to go and look. Can we
No.
Can we point the camera towards the pool?
No. Next time.
We're gonna have a pool cam. We're gonna try and have a pool cam from Studios, as long as we're doing from Studio C, because that's what we've been doing lately. It seems to be working out.
I like it here. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping. Oh, wow, this is a long podcast. I can't believe this.
Wow.
I can't believe it's not butter. All right, Steve.
Hey.
Have a great day tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's too. That's why I got to get home, too.
All right.
Yeah,
Now, in case she's watching this, I'm just going to say this. Steve really likes you. All right. We like to end with the beginning. So
thanks for having me again. It was fun.
Hey, thanks for coming along.
I love doing this.
All right. We'll talk to you on the next show. All right. Bye-bye.
Hit it.
Oh! Let's get this party started.
Yeah,